This was the scene outside of the Ellis County Weather Studios earlier this morning as snow was falling across the area. And conditions really don't fit for snow right now. If you've been in any of my school presentations recently, you've seen me explain that anytime we have warm air aloft, several thousand feet above the air, you start out with ice crystals, of course, and snow crystal type things in the clouds, but when that goes through that warm layer of air, it melts into rain, and then when you're freezing closer to the surface, it freezes again. That's how you tend to get freezing rain or sleet. Turns out temperatures are cold enough closer to the surface to where we're getting some kind of ragged snow at this point. It doesn't look like your very pretty snowflakes that you normally have, the fluffy stuff. This is kind of just ragged snowflakes put together, but again, it's still snow, and we're seeing all kinds of stuff that Texas weather does not like to play by the rules. We've seen plenty of examples of that recently, and it's certainly playing out today. If we look at radar behind me, you can see these heavier patches. So from just outside of Morgan towards Meridian there up to Glen Rose, some over in the Grandview area, and then some from Midlothian down towards Ferris. And, this is the radar at the time of filming. Things may have moved on since you since you're actually watching this, but this just tells the story that we do have these heavier patches. If you get one of these heavier patches, don't be surprised if there's a few claps of thunder. There could be some thunder sleet involved in this, or even a thunder snow, possibly. But overall, there is heavier activity involved in this, and we do still have the winter storm warning in effect. This now goes on to Thursday morning. This was originally going to be in effect until Wednesday, I believe, afternoon, evening. But it turns out that we were going to be warming up Wednesday and looking at possibly thawing out Wednesday afternoon. That is no longer the case. Wednesday is trending cooler, and it looks like Wednesday could be a lot like today. So not a whole lot of hope for Wednesday there. It looks like Thursday will be the day that we'll kind of start to thaw out. Certainly not thawing out today. Our daytime highs are going to be in the upper 20s to low 30s, and overnight lows tonight, we're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. Overnight last night, we got down, I believe, to 24, 25 degrees at Midway Airport. So, we could see areas in the mid-20s again tonight, but right now, looks like upper 20s across the area. And we would get colder, again, going back to these school lessons I've been doing, if it wasn't for the cloud cover that's going to hold in whatever daytime heating we get. I know daytime heating seems like a weird term right now, but we are getting some heating, and this will help us to, those clouds will help us to not have to drop down into the low 20s or even the teens overnight tonight. So the radar shows the story that there is plenty of moisture coming in. There is plenty of this stuff. I don't know how far south this freezing precipitation actually extends there, if that really is freezing precip down on the Rio Grande there. Certainly is for our area. And if we look at the water vapor, you can see that there is just plenty of moisture getting pumped into Texas. It is drier off to the west, and we eventually will get that dry air. Not yet, though. We will see rain continuing through Thursday. Thursday, it should be liquid, but it will continue. So we have a few more days of the wet conditions and all the moisture that's getting pumped in. But, as I said, we will get better eventually if you can just hang on for a few more days. Here's what we're looking at today. This is the area where we're seeing all of the heavier activity just kind of training. And you notice it all comes from the southwest, moves northeast, and it seems like the same areas are just going to get the heavy stuff all day long. So this is the setup today. As we go to tomorrow, it does shift a little bit to the northeast. It looks like we will be a little bit warmer to the southeast here, so we will be more rain from Palestine there and Mahia there on to the southeast. But in our area, again, most of Ellis County, Johnson Hill, seeing most of the heavier stuff. Looks like Navarro County could get a bit of a break. In fact, today, Navarro County has gotten more of a break than Ellis, Johnson, and Hill. But it does look like the heavier stuff will shift just a little bit to the northwest. But tomorrow does still look like a treacherous day, with temperatures staying right around or below freezing and more of this heavy activity blowing through. So here's what we're looking at for timing today. And again, 12 o'clock today, just kind of a pretty big coverage of precipitation. 3 o'clock, not much better. It looks like things calm down a little bit to the northwest there, but for our area, it just continues to go. By 6 o'clock, though, we're noticing things kind of starting to taper off a little bit. By 9 o'clock tonight, I think we do see most of this tapering off. We could still see patches of some light activity, but we should get a break tonight. Unfortunately, though, you get to midnight tonight, we're already starting to see it blow up again to our west. So we will get a break tonight, but it won't last very long, and tomorrow does look like just another very treacherous day out there. And if you're not a fan of this, just ignore everything until Thursday or Friday, when things should start to finally kind of turn back to normal. Today, 100% coverage. Winds continue to be cold, 29 degrees for the high. Again, tonight, 27. Again, some areas could get lower than that. Could be looking at 25, 26 in some lower lying areas. Tomorrow, I have the high at 32, so it will really depend. Some of us could get just ever so briefly above freezing, but I think most of us are 31, 32 degrees across the area, and then we get down to around 30 tomorrow night. So we are trending just a little bit warmer, but just not quite warm as we thought, not quite warm enough. Finally, Thursday, we get to the mid-30s, so it looks like Thursday morning we may still have some of this frozen stuff, but by Thursday afternoon, it does look like we warm up just enough to be able to get some of this liquid to come down instead of just pure ice falling from the sky. Thursday night, we do drop to around freezing, though. I will say that with that, though, some of us may stay above freezing, and we won't be as cold as we are tonight and tomorrow night. So Thursday night, I don't expect a lot of ice issues to be created here, because the ground will warm up during the day, and when the air is 32 degrees, the ground generally, especially the roads, are going to be a little bit warmer than the air is. So if the roads are able to stay 33, 34 degrees, hey, they don't freeze. So I don't expect as many travel issues Thursday night. Friday, we're back in the 50s. So Friday, it's sunny, 50 degrees, light winds. It'll be like nothing ever happened. And as we go to the end of the week, beginning of next week, hey, we're back to normal here. It's like nothing ever happened. It's the flip of the coin, and we're back in the mid-50s Saturday and in the 60s Sunday and Monday. So those southerly winds will return, and we will be looking at more normal conditions for our area next week. All this is a memory and a fun story to tell, but for right now, we are still looking at pretty treacherous conditions the next couple of days. Thursday, we start thawing out, and then by the end of this week, beginning of next week, hey, sunny, upper 50s, low 60s, back to normal across North Texas. Of course, I will be tracking all of those school closures and government closures and business and those kind of things at elliscountyweather.com/closures. And if you're a school administrator or a business owner, government official, someone who works in the business or the agency that is reporting, you can send a report to Kevin at elliscountyweather.com to help me keep up with the closures that I'm sure will probably extend to tomorrow.